What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Jenny, and today we are gonna go over 10 fall book recommendations for this season. Fall is my favorite time of year, and I'm so excited to share these. Some of them I would say are more popular than others. I've got my favorite fall mug with a warm cup of coffee, and let's go over my recommendations. So like I said, I have 10 total recommendations for you. I'm going to start off with my non-thriller recommendations because most of these are thrillers because I really like to read thrillers, especially in the fall and the winter. So that's what I have here for you. But I'm going to start with my non-thriller options here. So our first recommendation is going to be You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This is just the ultimate fall cover, if I do say so myself, and it is also the perfect fall read. Now you look at this cover and you would think it's like completely fall, but this actually takes place along all of the holidays, so it would be good for September, October, November, December. It goes all the way until like New Year's and New Year's Eve. This is said to be a modern day When Harry Met Sally, but the roles are flipped around. I've never seen When Harry Met Sally. I've seen the cover and this looks like the cover. But that's what everyone says it's like. This is about our main characters Ari and Josh, who keep meeting each other at different points in their lives, and it takes place across many years. This is one where they hate each other at first and then they become friends and then finally lovers. Like I said, this one is super great because it takes place in the fall. It's New York City, but it also takes place within those other holidays too, so it's good just to read this whole entire season. This is more of a, I would say this is like kind of a mix between romance and fiction. It really reminded me of Emily Henry as far as the writing goes, and I ate this book up so fast. I think I read this in like a day or two. I really love this one and really highly recommend. Then we've got The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This is definitely one of those popular ones and you've probably read it before, but if you haven't, this is like the ultimate Halloween spooky, witchy, cozy, fun book. It's also very quick and very short. This one follows a witch named Vivi who drunkenly one night puts a hex on her boyfriend that she just broke up with, Reese, and years later Reese comes back to their town, which is Graves Glen, which is just the cutest name for a town ever, and she finds out that the hex that she put on Reese years ago actually might have worked. She didn't think it would, but she finds out quickly that it actually did work. And so then the town that they're in starts to go haywire and they have to save it together and work together as a team. This is not like the most amazing book and piece of literature you'll ever read, but it is perfect to get into the season and get into Halloween time, and it's just so cute and so cozy. She has more books in that same universe, so I want to read those this October. Next up, we have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is kind of a random recommendation, I feel like, and I feel like this is kind of like you either hate it or you love it, so take that with a grain of salt. But when I read this in September, like 3 years ago, I loved it and loved it for this time of year. This is a fantasy romance, and honestly, I feel like the plot is kind of confusing to explain. Like, it makes more sense once you're actually reading it. This is about a maiden named Poppy, and you like can't touch her, can't look at her. She's like the chosen one to save her world. And then Hawk is a guard who gets appointed to like look after her and make sure that she goes through with like her prophecy of saving everybody. Like I said, it's kind of confusing and I don't want to get it all mixed up, and it is definitely slower, but once you get there, you get there. And yeah, so I really like this book. It is not for everybody, like I said, and I don't really know about the rest of the series. It is a long series. I've only read this one and the second one, not the rest of them. I do have them on my shelves, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I don't know if it will. I don't know how good of a recommendation this is. If you're just gonna read one book from the series, this is a fun one. Okay, now we're gonna go into some of my thrillers, but I'm gonna start with ones that are more like dark academia. So the first one I have is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This is the author that also wrote The Favorites, which was very popular this year, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. This one is like feminist serial killer. This is very much I support women's rights, but I more importantly support women's wrongs. It's exactly what this book is. So this one takes place on a college campus, so you've got your dark academia there, and you're following two storylines. So you're first following Scarlett, who is an English professor, and she in her free time takes place in killing bad men. We love that. Meanwhile, we're also following Carly, who is in her freshman year of college and just kind of looking for a little bit of an escape from her troubled home. She also sparks up a friendship with her college roommate Allison, but things get pretty intense and the story goes from there. This one is so fun and so perfect to read in the fall time because you do get that college atmosphere, but it's also a little spooky. The chapters are also very short for this book, so it goes by very fast. Up next, we have In My Dreams I Hold the Knife by Ashley Winstead. I love Ashley Winstead's writing so much. I think I've said in my Goodreads review, it's like pretentious without being pretentious, if that makes sense. It's like the characters are unlikable, but you still like them. This is also dark academia. We follow 6 college students who are getting back together for their college reunion, and one of them ends up dead. So it's a now and then timeline of following them when they were actually in school, and then 10 years later now, and they have the murder. This was also one that I just could not put down. It's pretty quick, and again, the writing is so good. This is my favorite from Ashley Winstead. Highly, highly recommend. Up next, we have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This is really interesting because it's kind of a genre blending book. So this follows a mother who watches her 18-year-old son murder someone on the night of Halloween, and then every morning that she wakes up a day earlier than before. So this is more of a slow burn, I would say, but it's also addicting to find out if she can change the future and find out why he was initially killing this person in the first place. And yeah, like I said, can she change fate and change what's going to happen? And this one is like a little bit spooky, but also it's very kind of like heartwarming, which I found kind of a surprise of kind of how far a mother would go for their child. So this one is a great one for the season as well. Okay, now we're gonna get into actual like spooky thriller books. So I have 2 Riley Sagers on here, and I could literally put all of Riley Sager's books on here. He is my favorite thriller author, but the ones that I think you should read specifically around this time. First up is Home Before Dark, again by Riley Sager. This is the haunted house book, haunted house story. If you're looking for one, this is it. Read this in October. It is amazing. I remember this actually had me scared to go to bed, and I was scared to read this like in the dark. 25 years ago, Maggie and her parents stayed at a house for 3 weeks before fleeing in the night due to some strange occurrences. And then Maggie's father wrote an entire book, kind of a memoir about what happened in this scary house, but Maggie has never really believed it because she was so young and she just kind of thought her father was crazy. And then her father passed away and she inherits the house. She's in the business of like flipping houses and doing house stuff like that, so she goes back to it, trying to fix it up to sell it and be done with it. And things happen and she wonders if her dad was actually right. So this is especially fun because you get to read the actual book that her dad writes within the book. You go back and forth between like Maggie's timeline and then you read the actual book that he wrote. So that was really, really fun. Again, this is like haunted house to a T. If you're gonna read one, please let it be this. It is so dang good. Then we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and this might be the most fun I've ever had while reading a book. That might be a little crazy, but there are so many twists and turns in this book. I know some people don't like that, but I personally do. I love a good twist. This is about Casey Fletcher, who is a widow and a wee bit of an alcoholic, and in her free time she likes to watch and kind of spy with her binoculars on the couple that lives across the lake from her. That's Richard and Catherine, and they are the glamorous it couple. They're rich, it seems all perfect, but then Casey befriends Catherine and she kind of learns that their marriage is not all that, and then Catherine disappears. So she has to figure out what's going on, and she is what I would call an unreliable narrator for sure because she drinks so much. So can she trust herself and what's going on? This one is just so fun. And I know I'm saying that for all of these, but again, these are all books that I'm going to recommend, so they are all so fun. The twist on this one had my jaw on the floor. Next up, we have The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. I feel like I never hear anyone talk about this book, but if you have seen the movie Ready or Not, that is literally this book, but around the Christmas time. Maybe I should have put this in like more like wintry stuff, but I think there's like, I think Thanksgiving is in here too, but it's still a good book. I would read it like November or December. But yes, if you have seen Ready or Not and like those vibes, you will love this book. So Harriet is engaged to her fiance Edward, and he comes from a very rich family. Like we're talking like the top 1% old money. He's never really brought her around his family, so she does finally go meet them. She meets his father, and his father gives her a confession on a tape, and she's like, what the heck? And that is when the game starts. What is the game? You don't really know until you're reading it. So it's super fun, kind of crazy. Like this one's like actiony, I feel like, just wild and fun in all the right ways. So I feel like this is just like a thriller that I don't see often, like just kind of the storyline, and it was really fun. How many times can I say really fun? And the last book that I have for this recommendation video is The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier. She is also one of my favorite thriller authors. I would say this one is more of a slow burn as well, and a little bit different because you find out the killer like right away, and then you kind of put the puzzle pieces together of how you got there in the rest of the book. So it's kind of like backwards in that way, which I think was a lot of fun. This is about Edward Shank, who is a very loved police chief who just retired, and he was in charge of catching catching a very notorious serial killer in Seattle. And so he's retiring and he's giving his house to his grandson, Matt. And while Matt is there, he discovers something that will haunt him forever. Now this one is so fun because there's just like a lot of things going on at once and you're like, how does this relate to this? But then it all comes together at the end. So this one is very easy to chew up and just a very good thriller. So there you have it, 10 book recommendations for the fall. Maybe you read some of these, maybe you haven't. Please let me know if you have, and also please let me know your favorite books to read in the fall because I need some for myself and my own personal TBR. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.